Hello and welcome to Sports Mag. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. This is the last show of the year and the last time myself and lovely Christy will ever anchor a show together.
I'm sorry to say this is true, but don't worry, we have an amazing last show for you.
That's right, we have everything you need to hear about CU sports before we call it quits this year. CU basketball stars Derek White and Xavier Johnson just wrapped up a multi-game showcase at the Portsmouth Invitational. This tournament is an annual showcase for potential NBA draft picks. White tied for 13th in points scored with an average of 15. And while despite Johnson's solid showing, his team finished 0-3. Derek White's agent recently met with a dozen NBA teams over the course of the tournament, and White says he's hopeful to receive an invitation to the NBA Combine in Chicago next month.
The Buffs will face off against the Quinnipiac Bobcats in the first round of the Paradise Jam tournament. Set for November 17th, the match will be the first of the tournament's evening session and its third game overall. This will be the first time in CU basketball history the Buffs play Quinnipiac, which is located just outside of New Haven, Connecticut. Whoever wins will face off against either Drake or Wake Forest the following Sunday. Other games will be announced later.
Matilda Diop will join the Colorado Buffaloes for the 2017-2018 season after signing a national letter. According to women's basketball coach J.R. Payne, Diop, a transfer from Arizona Western College, averaged 9.7 points as a guard. The 6'2 junior also scored in double figures 16 times with a season high of 17 points over Glendale Community College in February. In her last season with the team, AWC finished their season 23-9 and advanced to the regional finals. Payne says Diop will add fantastic backcourt, both offensively and defensively.
And in case you missed any of our shows recently, we have Tessa Diestel in the studio to give us a recap of a few of CU sports teams' seasons. Take it away, Tessa.
Three,
oh, wait,
2, 1.
Hey guys, I'm Tessa Diestel bringing you this week's edition of Buff Banter. With this being our last show of the year, we decided to take a look at some of the great sports moments at CU this season. So let's dive in. Of course, we've all heard of the Rise, and what a historic season it was. The Colorado football team went 10-4 overall, earned a bowl berth, and won the Pac-12 South. It all started with a win at the Rocky Mountain Showdown against the Colorado State Rams. Other memorable moments included Bryce Bobo's one-handed catch at Oregon, wins over Stanford and UCLA, and the victory over Utah to clinch the Pac-12 South. This season was undeniably one for the books. Now, on to the men's basketball team. The team had its on- and off-court struggles this past season and ended with a 19-15 record overall. But one bright spot of the season was the win over Oregon at home. And if Derek White wasn't a household name before this season, he definitely was one after. White was the Buffs' greatest asset and is expected to be drafted. Contributors Thomas Agazili and Bryce Peters announced they will not return next year, but head coach Tad Boyle is excited for the future nonetheless. Moving on to women's basketball, the 2016-2017 season proved to be one heck of a bounce back. Coming off a 7-23 record from last season, the Buffs finished the season at 17-16. The team is losing a number of players come fall, but the good news is point guard Kennedy Leonard will be returning. Leonard, paired with coach J.R. Payne, gives the women's basketball program hope for the coming years. Turning to women's lacrosse, this season has been unprecedented. The team is still in season and has hopes of winning the championship. They were undefeated until they faced Stony Brook in March and faced one more loss against USC. The team is strong, though, and the championship prospects are good, so stay tuned. That's all the time I have for this week's edition of Buff Banter. I'm Tessa Diestel. Thanks for tuning in. See you again in the fall.
Thank you, Tessa. So you probably haven't heard this throughout all the show, but this is the last episode of the year, and we are commemorating our history with this week's trivia question. I will ask you this mega cray historic question about Sports Mag. What year was CU Sports Mag founded? And no, it wasn't in the Jurassic or Mesozoic period. Go ahead and Google it because there's absolutely no way anyone can find anything on this answer. So make your best guess. Oh God, it's happening too soon. I'm not ready, Christy.
Calm down, Cyrus. Get a hold of yourself. We still have 3 blocks left of Sports Mag.
Okay, I can do this. Thank you.
Coming up, we sent our reporters Jack and Vinay out for Man on the Street to ask students about getting ready for next year's sports seasons.
We all have a story. And you know what? The Latinos have not been able to tell their story. Well, the Latino History Project was to put the history of Latinos in the school system in St. Vrain and Boulder Valley. And CU Boulder has been our main support in doing this. It is very important that we be proud of where we came from and say, I am who I am. I'm proud to be Latina, and I'm proud to be Boulder.
I've gotten a lot of shocking reactions when people find out that I'm 26 years old and I'm a freshman here at CU Boulder. I was in the Army for 8 years. I was in Afghanistan for 12 months in 2011. The worst part of my deployments was just seeing war and feeling that you're not safe. I decided to leave the military. I've always wanted to go to CU Boulder because of the outstanding education. Everybody made sure that I was well taken care of. I'm diving straight into calculus, physics, programming. I can be a veteran and I can be Boulder.
The NFL Draft is right around the corner, and CU fans are getting more and more excited to see their favorite CU stars end up. Like we mentioned last week, Chidobe Awuzie was one of 22 players invited to attend the NFL Draft. What we didn't know was that head coach Mike McIntyre and his family will also be in attendance to support Awuzie. The standout defensive back was part of McIntyre's first recruiting class at CU in 2013 and is the first Buff ever invited to attend the draft. The event will be held April 27th through the 29th in Philadelphia.
Now it's time for one of our favorite segments. Two of our favorite Sportsmag reporters went out and talked to our fellow Buffs about the football team. Here's Jack and Vinay with Man on the Street.
Hi, I'm Jack Stern and this is Vinay Simlot. And for this week's edition of Man on the Street, we're going to be asking people about the 3 Buffs in the upcoming NFL Draft.
So, do you know the 3 Buffs that are going to the NFL Draft?
Let me think here. Thompson. I'm totally blanking. Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And Awuzie.
Yeah. You got all 3 of them.
All 3?
Yeah, nice job.
Nice. Oh, cool.
I know Awuzie is one of them.
All right, high five. Good job.
Isn't Witherspoon?
Okay, you got. All right, so you guys have one more. Let's go.
Come on.
All the pressure's on your shoulders.
Is it Topu?
Ooh, very, very close. He might be undrafted this year, but it's actually Tedrick Thompson.
He's got a name that's like
Linebacker.
no, he's like a cornerback.
Awuzie.
Woozie, yeah.
The team had a great season last year, so how do you feel about their prospects going forward?
I feel like it's probably going to be a good team next year and years after.
How do you think the football team will do next year?
I'm sure just as medium as we are doing.
Well, I think it's looking really good next year as opposed to past years. I've been in the band for the past 4 years, and watching the football team just get a lot better this past season was amazing to watch.
Which player do you think will do the best next year?
I'm hoping Montez. I really hope he can come out and do a really good job.
I don't really remember the players that are staying around next year, so.
All of them.
All of them?
All of them.
Every single one?
Every single one. See, I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I definitely think our quarterback, he's going to step into some big shoes. He definitely showed off what he had last year. So I think he can, not to be mean to Cepho, but he could definitely be a good replacement for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking too.
So that's all the time we have for this week's edition of Man on the Street. Be sure to catch the NFL Draft on April 27th.
Football head coach Mike McIntyre praised a couple of changes that the NCAA approved earlier this week. If approved by the Collegiate Commissioners Association, one of the changes would allow for an earlier signing date for incoming athletes. Signing day would be moved to December instead of February, something that would benefit student athletes and coaching staffs alike. Coach McIntyre likes an earlier signing date because it allows student athletes to enjoy their holidays without schools trying to contact them. It benefits the school because it would allow coaches to know what positions they need to recruit for after signing day. It would also reduce the amount of recruiting coaches would need to do while preparing for a bowl game.
Isaiah Oliver and Darby Kiernan are Sports Mag's Athletes of the Week. Oliver, a track and field star, broke 3 10-year-old records last week, clocking in for the 400-meter decathlon at 47.58 seconds, stealing the 100-meter dash at 10.84 seconds, and setting a new long jump record after landing at the 7.18-meter mark. He also took first place in the California Invitational on April 15th. Darby Kiernan of the women's lacrosse team finished the lax season with 40 goals and 17 assists for a total of 57 points. She leads the league, is ranked second in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation, and ranked 7th nationally in draw controls per game, and in 13 NCAA in free position goals per game. The women's lacrosse team opened the season with a school record of 11 consecutive wins and hope to make a run in the NCAA tournament.
Don't go away. Don't even move your arm to meet the commercial.
If you move, I will know. I will find you, and I will tell you all the sports you missed.
Coming up after the break, we have updates on the ski team.
Also, a brand new segment of 60 Seconds with the Buff. Stay tuned.
We the people.
We the people of the United States.
We're bringing in experts from CU Boulder Law School and introduces students to issues that are of national importance but have a tremendous impact on the small community of Ray. I think it really starts to develop those students into those informed citizens we would like them to become.
Do ordain and establish
this Constitution for the United States of America.
You can be a high school in Ray, Colorado and still be Boulder.
My biggest fear in life would be not amounting to anything. I decided I wanted to go to college because my parents never went.
The pre-collegiate program connects students with mentors to ensure that students get into college and graduate.
The best part about this program is the summer trips we take. The 2 weeks at CU, I learned how stressful it is. That scares me, but in a way it does excite me. The biggest thing I've learned is just if you want to succeed, you have to be bold.
With less than 2 weeks remaining in the spring soccer season, Coach Danny Sanchez has found his midfielders playing particularly well. The midfield is made up of returning players Megan Massey, Sarah Kinzer, and Taylor Korniak, as well as transfers Cassie Phillips and Becca Rasmussen. The midfielders have been a part of the most of the Buffs' success so far. Coach Sanchez wants the team to build off of the strong individual performances. The next game is tomorrow at noon against Nebraska.
Mark your calendars for March 7th through 10th, 2018, because for the second time in 3 seasons, the Buffaloes will host the Skiing National Championships. The NCAA National Office announced Tuesday that our Buffs will host the champs in Steamboat Springs. The Nordic and slalom races will take place at the Howelson Hill and the giant slalom on Mount Werner. This is not the first time that the championships will take place in Steamboat Springs, as the champion was crowned in the town in 2006, 2010, and 2016 most recently. In total, Steamboat Springs has been in the home of the national race 8 times, and the Buffs have been the host on 5 of those occasions. The Buffs are no strangers to winning in Steamboat either. They've won 2 of their 20 titles in Steamboat Springs.
The track and field team have 2 meets this weekend, one in Fort Collins, Colorado, and one in Stanford, California. We have 2 keys in order for the team to come away with some wins this weekend. First, the runners need to continue what they've been doing. They have won numerous races so far this season, so there is no need to change something that works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. At the Brian Clay Invite earlier this month, the men's and women's hurdlers dominated the competition in the 4 hurdles. The men's placed 4 runners in the top 10, including the 1st and 3rd place. The women placed a runner in the top 5 as well.
And for our second key, Isaiah Oliver needs to continue his dominance. Oliver set a personal best in the decathlon and posted the highest score of any Buff in 40 years. In order for the Buffs to take home the W's this weekend, they just need to follow these easy steps. Good luck to our fellow Buffaloes.
April 16th was senior day for the CU women's tennis team. The Buffs hosted their final home match of the 2017 season against the University of Oregon. The Buffs suffered a 4-2 loss against the number 42 Ducks. This loss was hard to bear as it was the Buffs' 6th straight loss. The loss dropped the Buffs' overall record to 9-11 and 1-8 in the Pac-12. This loss can be attributed to the struggles that the Buffs had in doubles play. The highlight of the day happened when number 1 singles player Nuria Ormeño Ruiz battled back and won her match in 3 sets. Although the Buffs didn't walk away with a win, they successfully improved upon their discipline, attitude, and competing, according to head coach Nicole Keneally.
This week, our awesome Sports Mag reporter Lena Takakashi chats with a women's lacrosse player. Let's take a look at what she had to say in this edition of 60 Seconds with the Buff.
Fans, I'm Lena Takahashi, and welcome to 60 Seconds with the Buff. I'm with Eleanor Wolf from the women's lacrosse team. So, Eleanor, as a freshman coming onto the team, how did it feel knowing that you were joining such a great team? Was it intimidating at all?
Honestly, it's like a huge privilege to be on this team, and I really enjoy everything. It's quite an experience. And I mean, the first week was definitely maybe a little bit intimidating, but after all of us freshmen kind of got into the groove of things, it really wasn't too bad.
So I know with the season coming to an end and the seniors are going to be graduating, how do you think the loss of some of the seniors is going to impact your season next year?
Well, our head coach, Ann Elliott, she does a great job with making sure that we are going to be ready for next year with the huge loss that we will be having. Hopefully it won't affect the playing too much, but I think what will be a huge impact is the fact that they're not going to be here every day, and there's such a presence on the field, socially and physically, and so I think that would be the biggest part.
So after having such an amazing season and still upcoming games as well, how do you think your season has been going thus far and being nationally recognized and so many of your players just having national rankings?
It's pretty awesome, honestly. I had no idea I would be on such an amazing team that is ranked nationally, and it's such an experience and a privilege to be able to contribute and help the team get better day in and day out. And I just hope we keep up the good work and make it as far as we can in the tournaments to come.
That's all the time we have for 60 Seconds with the Buff. I'm Lena Takahashi with Eleanor Wolf. Thanks for watching.
After suffering a tough loss to Southern California on Friday, the CU women's lacrosse team redeemed themselves through their spectacular 17-5 defeat of San Diego State on Sunday. This win is the 13th of the season, tying the highest amount of wins that the Buffs achieved last season. This boosts the Buffs' record to 13-2. The offense started the game strong, scoring 3 goals in the first 5 minutes. The team battled in this way for the remainder of the game and earned their victory.
The lacrosse team got to bask in the glory of their number 5 ranking in a pair of polls and number 6 in another, but since their loss to Southern California, the Buffs' ranking was lowered substantially. In all 3 polls, the Buffs are now ranked 9th in the nation. USC was ranked 9th at the time of the game and is now ranked 8th. The Buffs will wrap up their otherwise incredible season on the road where they take on St. Mary's April 21st and California on April 23rd.
Don't go away, because coming up after the break, we have the answer to that riveting trivia question.
Also, we will get to hear from other sports maggers what it's like to work with us. Hopefully they say something nice.
Wait a minute. I just realized I don't need to make a fire, because up next is Rapid Fire with me, Ben Wells, right after the break.
Our good friend and fellow Sports Mag reporter Ben Wells is in the building. He's here with another fiery, spicy hot, and super fast edition of Rapid Fire. Take it away, Ben.
Thank you, Cyrus and Christine. Let me start off by saying that I'm truly honored to be a part of your final Sports Mag show. Now, with that being said, we've got some schedules to get to, so without further ado, this is Rapid Fire. We're starting things off with a heated weekend for track and field. They've got 2 separate meets, both taking place all day today and all day tomorrow. One part of the team will be in Fort Collins for the Christensen Invitational, while the rest of the team will be all the way in Stanford for the Cardinal Invitational. The next weekend game takes place tonight, right here on Kittredge Field. It is girls lacrosse, and it is against St. Mary's at 6 p.m. So after the show's over, get yourselves over to Kittredge to watch. That one should be a great game. Finally, at noon tomorrow, the tennis team takes on Utah in Salt Lake City, hoping to rebound from 6 straight losses. Good luck to them. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time I have for today. This has been Ben Wells, Cyrus, Christine. Back to you guys.
And now for the final trivia question of the year. We've educated the masses on CU sports trivia for decades. So this week's question is, what year was CU Sports Mag founded? If you looked it up, well, you wasted your time because no one knows. I don't know. My co-anchor doesn't know. The producer doesn't know. It's a real mystery. Just kidding. The answer is 1992. The show is older than most people on campus. Entire music genres have risen and fallen. Humans born then have made new humans already. I think you get the picture. Well, this is the last show of the year, but for many of our students, it is the last show of their college career. For the past few weeks, we've been honoring some of those seniors, and this week, some of the members of Sports Mag has made a video for myself, Christy, and our executive producer, Allie, to say one final goodbye.
Christy, always a good energy to have. She always lights up a room.
Christy is probably the sweetest person I've met in Sports Mag. She's very bubbly and fun, and everyone likes being around her.
Thank you so much for helping me with everything. You're always so put together.
I would like to thank her for everything that she's done for me since I started at Sports Mag.
You care about animals so much, which is awesome, and I love talking to you about dogs.
Being one of the hosts of the Puppy Bowl, I think that's where Christy's going to end up.
You're one of the most genuine, sweet, and calm people that I know, yet you are absolutely hilarious, and you're very hardworking and smart.
You're amazing, you're passionate, you're so kind, and you're so great, and you really help everyone.
She's one of those people that always brings good vibes into the room. You make things more fun, and you're always happy and smiling, so it's fun to look at journalism through your eyes.
And our Tiger Sharks are gonna throw it back to you.
Thanks, guys. You're left shark.
Close. Christy from Double Team was left shark, so I see where you got that from.
Cyrus, I have nothing good to say about you.
The show's going to be better without him.
Kind of a loser.
He's kind of crazy, but he's really the energy of Sports Mag, and he's just really good at what he does. Any given day that you're not at Sports Mag, you're bound to have 10 people ask, "Where's Cyrus?"
He's hilarious and so just ridiculous sometimes, and yet always seems to know what he's doing.
I'm going to be sad without you here. You work really hard. I see you work really hard in everything that you do. And you honestly just have made my life really fun.
When it's time to get down to business, he's always on track.
All of your packages for News Team were really good, even though they were all shown on your phone, pretty much.
It was really, really fun getting to know him, and I'm going to miss him a lot next year.
It's been amazing working with you. You're so funny. You're one of my closest friends, and I'm so thankful to have met you through Sports Mag.
All right, Cyrus, it's time for us to say goodbye to all of our lovely viewers.
What? Allie, I wasn't ready. I'm not ready to say goodbye to them. I won't do it.
But it's okay, Cyrus. We'll see them next show.
I was shooting highlights, and I had no idea what I was doing, and she kind of sat me down, showed me the ropes.
She was just really welcoming and so kind, and I just knew that this is where I wanted to be.
She's really nice and makes it a welcoming atmosphere.
She's just a great leader and a very kind and welcoming person.
You've been a really nice person. You're super friendly all the time.
I remember when I first joined, you were the person who reached out to me and made sure that I felt comfortable all the time.
I think no matter what career you decide to go into, whether it's broadcasting or something else, you're going to be successful in it.
You've become one of the best producers I've seen in Sports Mag.
I think this has been one of the best years of Sports Mag in a long time because we've had people who are truly passionate about it, and it all starts with you.
You were the one that invited me to Sports Mag, and I was really hesitant to come, and I am beyond grateful that I did.
Yeah, I want to thank you for being a great executive producer.
Thank you, everyone, for the kind words. We want to give a huge shout-out to the dedicated Sports Maggers behind the scenes as well.
They work so hard every week to make sure we look good on camera, and then they still make time to say nice things about us. It's so sweet.
Before we go today, we want to let all of our viewers know that Sports Mag might be going under some new rebranding next year. Who knows?
Cyrus, that's right. There might be some new faces on the desk and possibly a new look, possibly even a new name. Guess you'll have to find out next year.
Unfortunately, now it is time for us to say goodbye for good.
This has been the final edition of CU Sports Mag with me, Christine Lambert, and Cyrus Allen. Have a great summer, everyone.